So firstly, yes, I'm going to record so that the people that are not here, hopefully they'll be able to get something that we have learned today, right? That doesn't mean you should disconnect yourself. I might decide to share the training 3 weeks after now. So how will you write the exam? I'm not that wicked though. Okay, so I'm really, really happy to have you guys. We are going to start the training and we are going to do sharing of screen. I'm going to share my screen right away. And let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to share my screen. So please, you will just by the chat, confirm if you can see my screen. Please confirm if you can see my screen on the chat. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Lovely. So we'll proceed right away. Proceed right away. So I'm just going to switch my view to slide only and then hide some of all this. Okay. Let me allow you to see the navigator too. This looks good. So customer service relationship management. I subtitled it a smiling employee, a smiling customer. And why do I always title this? Because most times we often feel that a customer is always right? That's what we always say. But most times we forget to say that for your customer to enjoy your service, the people that are going to give them that service need to enjoy it too. You can't give what you don't have, right? If your staffs are not happy, they can't give happiness to your customers. If your staff are not enjoying your product, they can't transfer that enjoyment to your customers. So a smiling employee, a smiling customer. Once your employees are smiling, they will transfer that smile over to your customers. So now, moving on, customer service part 1. Who has access to draw on my screen? I'm coming. I have to. Someone has that whiteboard stuff. I need to disable that. Please just try and avoid scribbling on my screen. I can't remember where that is now. Okay, but anyways, customer service part 1. So this first place, we'll just be doing mostly introduction to know exactly what customer service is all about. So what is customer service? What is customer service? So now customer service, from what I define here, is a process of customer care rather. Sorry, what's customer care? Like customer care, customer service, you know, they can be interchanged, kind of. So now, the process of delivering high quality service to internal and external customers. So now, when we say internal customers are the employees of the business. Hope you get that. So internal customer, when I say internal customer, I mean the employees. And when I say external customers, those are your clients, your customers, your users, as the case may be. So going over again, it's the process of delivering high quality service to internal and external customers, both existing and prospective employees. Customer care results in high level of customer satisfaction, leading to long-term buying relationships between suppliers and customers, or between employer and employee, as the case may be. So you are saying that customer service transcends just business and then their clients. No, it's also employer to employee. Because if you look at it, the first customers of a business are the employee, actually. Then before you now start talking about the external customers that are going to walk in to patronize the service. So how the employer even treats the employee is part of customer care. So that's why most of you that joined ask this question: who do you think needs customer service training? Everybody needs customer service training, because the management even needs it to be able to attend to the staffs properly. So now, customer care characteristics. Organizations that provide a high standard of customer care tend to have the following characteristics. Firstly, high quality products or services that represent value for money. So why I put this here is that you can't be saying you have good customer care, meanwhile your product is trash. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out. It's one of the first thing of customer services. You must have a high quality product or service. Just imagine, let's just say tailors. Sorry for the tailors in the house. I know I'm going to throw shade on you because tailors, they also show me shege wewe. So now, Ada Emmanuel, can you please stop touching my screen? Thank you very much. For some reason, I can't turn off this annotation on my screen. Sorry, let me just see if I can turn it off for everybody because it keeps clear viewers drawing, clear my drawings, clear all drawings. Okay, let's just leave it for now. Please stop drawing on the screen. Thank you very much. That annotate button, remove your hand from it if you can. Thank you. So as I was saying, tailors, let's go back to them. I know many of you have experience with tailors. And if a tailor is trash, like those tailors will be saying, now wait till their minds, they want to. Like, now wait till their minds. Forget what you tell you. Discover, I want this corset. I want the design to be like this. At the end of the day, it will be a matter of what I got, what I ordered versus what I got. There is no amount of customer service that is going to correct that fact of bad products or a bad service by that tailor. Even if you have the employee with the biggest smile, he's not going to pacify that customer because the product is bad. So first characteristic, high quality product or service. Another characteristics, a high standard of after sales service. We'll also come to talk about this much later. After sales service, most companies, after they sell to you, that's the end of the deal. They don't care about you again. They've achieved their goal. They just sell to you and then they throw you off under the bus. You should know how you are going to live your life. But they forget the place of what we call after sales service. After sales service. After sales service can involve simple things, as simple as just sending an SMS to say, thank you for patronizing us. And after sales service can just be a simple thing as asking for feedback. Hey, we noticed you bought our products 1 month ago. How has been your experience with using our products? That's an after sales service. And after sales service is something that Mr. Enya had mentioned earlier. He mentioned something like sending SMS for their birthdays. That's an after sales service. The person has become your customer, has done his business with you, but you still remember to keep them in the loop even after the service, right? So that's an example of a high standard of after sales service. Another characteristic is friendly and helpful staff who are well trained and knowledgeable. Friendly, helpful, and then they should be well trained. Trained in customer service and then in how to use your products. One thing I don't like sometimes is sometimes you will call customer care and then the person you're talking to cannot handle it. You will not say he wants to transfer it to another person. Sometimes they'll transfer you up to 3 times and you still can't get anything solved, especially banks. Banks are like the worst when it comes to that. If any of you have ever called your bank before, I'm sure you would have experienced this. So characteristic, friendly, 1, helpful, 2, well-trained, 3, and knowledgeable, 4. Also, another characteristic, a positive response to customer inquiries and demands. Positive, always be positive. Be positive, it's also another characteristics. Then a can-do rather than a can't-do approach. A can-do approach must be a person of a can person than a can't person. Not everything they say, no, we can't do that, we can't do that. Instead, find out a way of how you can achieve what your customer, what your client wants. Another characteristics, a regular appraisal of the service they provide in order to improve that service, rather, improve is the word. So now appraisal, if you have customer service that you are not appraising, that you are not reviewing, how would you improve? How would you even know you are even doing good? You need to be able to review it, appraise, do appraisals to know that, okay, we are performing at this level and this is the level we want to get to. That's a good characteristics of customer care, a customer care characteristic that is really, really good. And the last we have here is the ability to be self-critical in a positive way. The ability to be self-critical in a positive way. Most of us possess this trait, but some people do not possess this trait. I see this a lot on Twitter banter group. You will see somebody coming to criticize someone else of something that they are even worse at. Then you now see somebody will now come and comment under them again and say, but you know, so it shows that that person himself that initially commented is not self-critical, right? So an ability to be self-critical is to be able to criticize yourself in a positive way. So constructive criticism, that's a very, very good characteristic that we are looking forward to. So the next slide, I like this. So the call center experience, I'm sure most of us know call centers. Now you have called MTN call center, your bank call center, maybe you have an internet provider, their call center, you must have called them. So what is usually like is they just have a bunch of people, like they could have sometimes 10, 5, 50 people as much as possible. And they are given a phone to answer calls for people. Now, most companies choose to outsource this, while some companies do it in-house. So when I mean outsource, there are companies that just employ people, train them in customer care, and then they have phone numbers. Now, somebody like me now that don't want to go and start employing my own customer care people, I will just talk to that company that, hey, I want you people to handle my customer care for me. So any call that comes, you will receive it on my behalf and then document, record the call. So if it's something that needs my attention, you will not call my attention to it. So that is one way it happens. Another way it happens is me, I'll just employ the customer care representative myself, and then they serve my company directly. So those are the two ways, the customer care experience, that's how it works. Now, the first one, obviously, when we outsource is that what brings that trouble most times, especially all these network providers. If you notice, if you call network providers and it's a technical issue, they will tell you that they want to transfer you. So you've called the customer care representative, someone has answered you. It's not something that they can easily just refresh your line, something they can easily just do something about. They'll just be like, okay, we want to transfer you to the technical department. So most times they are not transferring you inside the company, because most times those people that are answering you at the moment are not even staffs of that company. So I hope we are all following that at the moment. So now I want us to go to the chat box, the chat session, and tell me what you hate about call centers. I want us to just do that activity very, very quickly in like 3 minutes. Just type in, what do you hate about call centers? Let me pull up the chat. I'll be expecting your response. Let me know. I'm sure you must have called customer care. You must have called customer care. Okay, Deborah Olufemi says they can be rude sometimes. Chinye also seconded that by saying they can be unnecessarily rude. I agree with you guys. So keep it coming. They put you on hold, listening to pre-recorded voice notes for a very long time. Exactly, Aisha. They don't pick calls on time. They take time to pick calls. Exactly. Keep it coming. I want to hear all you guys have to say concerning these guys. Okay, someone say end up exhausting a time without reaching them. Yes. Chisom A, yes. If it's not toll-free, there are some that are toll-free, like if you're calling MTN, Glo, it's toll-free. But if you are calling some other companies, you are using your airtime, and then they will play music for you for like 10 minutes before they pick, sometimes 20 minutes, and they will not even still pick at the end of the day, which is very, very true. They are not always helpful, which is also true. Most times they are not always helpful. The long delay before they pick up your calls, especially banks, you burn airtime only to hear at the moment all our customer care agents are busy. Very, very true. Very, very true, Ted. Very, very true, Ted. They put you on hold. And still use your airtime. Very true. Yes, they will put you on hold sometimes. They'll tell you, yes, wait on the call while we do so and so. And then they put you on hold, start playing that music again till they come back to you, which is very, very true. They respond late. Of course, they respond. We've talked about that. They try to gaslight you like you didn't experience what you are complaining about. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yes, I've seen experiences like that. You see some companies you call, maybe for example, you bought an electronic device and you call their customer care and they start trying to put the blame on you, try to gaslight you, which is very, very true. I've seen that happening a lot. They will tell you, I'll refer you to someone, which is very annoying. That's where we'll come to the part where we say they should be knowledgeable, like they should be well-trained and knowledgeable. Lack of full knowledge about what the service they are providing has making them very confused. Very true. Very true. This is, in fact, this is the worst one that I hate the most. Sometimes you call them, it's like you're teaching them their job, and then it now becomes like you are the annoying one. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be able to help you. I remember calling MTN one time, and I was not getting 4G access on my phone. I was only getting 3G. Meanwhile, if I pop in another SIM, I'll get 4G and all that. So I kept talking to these people, talking to these people, talking to these people. Even went to their office and they couldn't really do anything. At the end of the day, I had to solve the issue my own self through my own technical knowledge at the end of the day because they didn't really know what was happening. They don't pick up even during their work hours. Very true. Very true. I can relate. My internet provider, Legends, that gives me internet in my house, fiber internet in my house, they won't take your calls. In fact, they blocked me at a certain point in time. Imagine a company that you have paid to supply your internet blocking your phone number from calling. I have gone through a lot in terms of customer service, honestly. At the end of your complaint, they will tell you there's nothing we can do at this time. Okay, yes, very, very true. I've also seen that. I've also seen that happen. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yes, tell you that they can't do anything. And so that's what we say. They should have a can-do approach, not a can't-do approach, right? They behave like they are the owner of your money. As you have paid them now, they are not the new owners. For Zia, I get what you said there. They behave like they are the owner of your money, which is very, very true. They forget that you sweat hard to make that money, and theirs is just to collect it and, give you bad service for that. Okay, the most annoying to me is telling me to hold for 10 minutes and start a countdown. When it's about 4 minutes left, instead of countdown, you will get a more annoying voice telling you to hold for another 10 minutes, burning airtime. Singing unnecessary song. Very, 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 very true. Talked about this, like they keep just playing that repetitive song, telling that song over and over again. And it's not like it's an interesting song, or it's not like it's something that is very short that you just play it for 1 minute and then they attend to you. They have to play it for at least 10 minutes. And sometimes they will tell you that there are 20 persons ahead of you. Please wait behind. Then next thing you hear, there are 10 persons ahead of you. The next thing you hear, there are 5 persons ahead of you. Then when it's not close to your turn, you will not hear, there's this to say, sorry, all our agents are busy. It's very, very crazy, honestly. It's very, very crazy. So telling you that they will lodge your complaint to the appropriate team. Yes, they also do this, they also do this, of which though I prefer this than wasting my time. Prefer this than wasting my time. To tell you that if they are telling me they are lodging it to the appropriate team, I'll just respond to them and tell them, when am I expecting a response from you, right? When am I expecting a response from that team? Or are they going to call me back? Do I need to call back? That's, to me, that's a better approach than all these other things that we've been saying before. It's something I even train people to say early on time. If you know it's something you cannot do, don't waste the person's time. Just tell them, hey, sorry, this is not within my team. We'll send this to for example, banks. If you call banks now and then it's fraud, they'll tell you, the customer service will say, okay, we are transferring this to the e-fraud department. Sometimes you're transferring it to the technical department, transferring to support and all that. So you just only need to ask for a follow-up and say, when am I expecting an answer, right? So that's basically how it works. My bank told me to stop calling them if I can't come down to the bank. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. The balls, man, the levers, these guys, they are high on some serious thing, man. That's interesting. That's interesting. Banks are something else in Nigeria, honestly. They are something else in Nigeria. I don't even know what to say about this one. You should stop calling them. So why are they employed? This is just crazy. My goodness. I want to experience that with Zenith Bank. It just closed my account. Of course, that's what's going to happen. And they don't care because how much do you even have in an account? They'll be like, is it not 20,000 years in account? Is it not 100,000 years in his account? Is it not 5,000 years in his account? And that's the approach they think of. But they forget to understand that you are using the account to run business, your daily transactions, things, it's a part of your life. But they don't see it that way. They just see it like, it's just one customer. We have 10 million more customers. And that honestly doesn't make sense. It's a very, very bad ideology. Okay. So thank you very much. I have really enjoyed you guys' chats. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on this topic. So now, sorry. Now, some other things I have about customer care that have routine here that you did not mention. Sometimes they try to direct you to their websites to solve your problem because that saves them money, right? So they don't want to employ too many staff, or it's toll free. They are the one paying for the cost of the call. They will not want to start directing you to so you want to solve your problem by yourself. That's something that I don't like about them, right? Sometimes they also make it even more difficult to sort your problem out. Sometimes you're just coming for one simple thing that, hey, maybe I'm trying to call somebody, is not connecting, and maybe you should refresh my network. The next thing, they'll start telling you to remove SIM, do so many things. All they just needed to do was to refresh your network there, right? So sometimes they make it more difficult. So now another thing they do is most times they'll tell you how important you are, but they don't treat you as if they mean it, right? They just say it. It's just for saying sake. Another thing I don't like is you never talk to the same person twice. I don't like that. So I was just talking to David, the call cut. Network was bad, the call cut, or then David mistakenly cuts the call, or maybe I even ran out of airtime. You call again, Doris will not pick. You now have to start from beginning again. I don't like that, honestly. I don't like that, honestly. And that thing also that I don't like, they always insist you are repeating information over and over again, like unnecessary repetition of information. Okay, did I get your number right? Your number is 070, so. Yes, that's my number. Okay, your number is 0. I just said it's okay. Why are you repeating this thing over and over again, right? So that's also another thing I don't like about them. They keep repeating questions too many times. Then also, they don't employ enough staff, or the staff they employ are outsourced. They don't even know anything about the company. And the last thing that I hate totally about them is they don't care. Honestly, they don't care. They're just doing it. Honestly. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. So now, is it just call centers, right? Is it just call centers? We decided to vent our anger on call centers, but let's look at it. It's not just call centers. People in retail environments are often rude and unhelpful. Have you gone to a store lately? Like you go to stores and you are trying to check out, you're trying to pay, and the service is so bad, so bad, So now, this is not because they are bad people. Even for call centers, even for retail environments, it's not because they are bad people, but they are often poorly trained, badly managed, and working under pressure. So some of these people, you will see that they have been sitting on that counter, clearing people for 8 hours straight. So if it reaches your turn after they've been on an 8-hour shift, they are definitely going to swear for you. So most times it's management that is the problem. Management are not training them, they are not managing them properly, and they are making them work under pressure. But yet, if you listen to the people at the top of this organization, they regularly come out with phrases like, we are totally customer focused, right? And they say things like, our people are our greatest assets. That's what the management will always say, but they don't do it. They don't mean it. They just say it is for saying sake. They don't act on it. It's just for talks. So now, not true, to deliver excellent customer service, it requires commitment from the top of the organization, investing in training and equipment and proper management on an ongoing basis. It also requires feedback from core customers and staffs who are experiencing the service and suffering at the coalface. So people that are not getting the best of the service, getting feedback from those people, that is even more important. That's how you ensure excellent customer care. Commitment, investment, training, equipment, management, and feedback. These are very, very important components to deliver excellent customer care or excellent customer service. So moving on, this is a survey by the Confederation of British Industry. So it's the all industries in Britain, the Confederation. They did a study and then on customer care, and they said only one customer in 10 with grounds of complaint actually does so. So out of 10 people that experience bad service, only one complains. That's what they found out. So most times, because we are so used, the stress you go through to even complain, you just be like, I beg, may I just rest? Than for me to go this bank, go fight for 2,500 or this 2,005 that they have not reversed. It will even cost me more than 10,000 naira to go and look for that 2,500 to reverse. You will just rest. So this is what they are trying to talk about here. Only 1 out of 10 will actually go and complain. Why? Because customer service is generally bad. Generally bad. Sometimes you order from Jumia, you receive the shirt is very low quality. And you're just reasoning, you're just tired, man. I beg, let me just rest, right? So you're among those 9 people that don't complain. So only that 1 out of that 10 complain. Now let's move on. He said those customers who experience problem tell between 8 and 15 people about the problem, whether or not they have complained to the company about it. And that's bad for business. And it's true. Just look at it yourself. If your bank did not reverse your 2,500, you will tell at least 8 to 15 people about the service of that bank. You might not tell them immediately, just look at it over like a period of 1 or 2 weeks. You must have told at least 15 people of that bad service, or you bought something on Jumia that was not good. You keep on saying it, you keep on mentioning it. And this is not good for business. It is not good for business at all. Another fact, 9 out of 10 people who complain and have a problem that is not dealt with satisfactorily will never buy again from that supplier, or only buy as a last resort. And that's very true. Somebody just mentioned they closed their bank account because of bad customer service. It happens a lot. So most times, say 9 out of 10 people. So that means from that one that try and still complain, and they have a problem that was not satisfactorily dealt with, they don't buy again. So you only retain 1 customer out of those 9 that have, out of those 10 that have a problem with your service. So you have to try and, satisfactorily handle these problems. They will only come back to you as a last resort. Maybe you are the only one gone that is able to do that. Like for example, go and try complaining about Smith in Nigeria. Now you only have like 3 or 4 options of Smith. You can't complain. If you have something bad, you will still buy. So that's more like when they are the only last resort. But most times, most of our business, you're not the last resort. You're not the only restaurant. If you have bad service, the person moves and tells you he's not going to buy from your restaurant anymore, and then moves to the next restaurant. Also, sometimes, the person, it could be a supermarket, bad service, and you don't go there anymore. So that's that. So another fact, 9 out of 10 people who complain and have a problem that is dealt with satisfactorily will buy again from that supplier. Now, in fact, they rate the supplier higher than if the problem never even occurred in the first place. So now you have a very, very good product. And then there was now a fault with it. They are telling you that 9 out of 10 will buy again. And they will even buy again more if they didn't even have that problem in the first place. You take a look at it, for example. Imagine let's go to another industry, for example. You booked a flight and then after booking the flights, they delayed your flight, you know, the whole thing, you were very pissed and all that and all that. Then when you now got into the flight, they were very apologetic about it. They were saying they were sorry, you know, oh, sorry. Then they now gave everybody complimentary wine. They now gave everybody one glass of wine inside that plane. And then they now took off. You will prefer to even be using that airline more than if they didn't even delay the flight. If they didn't delay the flight, you would have not even had the problem in the first place. But now you had the problem and then they handled it well. That will even make you love them more. So that's why customer service is very important. Very, very important. Then the last part we have here, it costs 5 times more to attract a new customer than to keep an existing one. In fact, this 5 times more is like average, industry average. There are some industries that you will be that it will cost up to 15 times more, not to get a new customer, to attract a new customer than to keep one you already have. So that's why customer service is important, so that you can keep your customers that you already have. So if you are still following, just drop an emoji in the chat. Let me see the chat bubbling. If you are still following, if you are enjoying the session, just drop an emoji in the chat. Awesome, 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 guys. Awesome, guys. You guys rock. You guys rock, man. Awesome. So now moving on. Who is responsible for customer care? Who is responsible for customer care? Customer care is everybody's responsibilities. We've been saying this since on Tuesday. Some of you that we met on Tuesday, some of you that we met on Wednesday. We've been saying this, customer care is everybody's responsibility. It begins with the person who is the most senior, say the managing director, making strategic decision that customer care is good for the business and is going to be embedded into the culture of the organization at all levels. Many organizations, they fled to customer care. They were often buying customer care training. So let's do the customer care training, but they will restrict it to just say supervisors and members of staff, but they will leave out the managers and directors, and even departments that are not regarded as customer facing, such as account department, warehouse department. But this is the wrong way to go about it. This is the wrong way to go about it. Everybody must be trained on customer care and customer service. So if you look at it this way, everyone in the organization can potentially upset customers and get in the way of providing customer care service. Remember when I was giving an example when I met you guys on your CDS and I told you that you could have a client that just came in, wants to buy a house in Jabi for 200 million naira, and the client is pumped and he loves the house and everything. And then he just wants to sign the deal. And then he's like, oh, sorry, I'm pressed. Let me just quickly use your toilet. You say, oh, please, our toilet is that way. You direct the person goes to the toilet. And then he gets to the toilet, he met one very ragged looking cleaner there, and the cleaner said, you should get out and clean this place. Come back later. That client will not sign that deal. Between me, God, man, everybody that is existing in this call, if that client still signed that deal to buy that house, that client was sent from heaven. Why? Because customer service. You would have thought that, oh, the cleaner is not part of, it's not even part, it's not supposed to be trained. But he needs to be trained because he just cost you that deal. Because he was rude to a client that you were already closed, that you had already closed, basically, you're already very close to closing and selling your property to that person. You've lost that client. The responsibility of the senior person in the organization is to give strong leadership and explain that customer care is at the heart of decision-making for the future. It is important to publicly state why customer care is so important and lay out ground rules that all members of staff understand. 3 steps of customer service: a warm and sincere greeting using the guest's name. This is something I always teach people. Always ask for someone's name early on and keep using the name. So it's very, very important. Very, very important. Referring to someone by their name, it makes them feel at home. It makes them feel at home. So you need to imbibe that culture of learning people's names. So most times, if someone is calling you, there are some customers that are calling you. There's some customers that are calling you that when they call you, their name will show up based on your customer, they will show up. What you need to do is you just refer to them by your name. Hello, Mr. David, how are you doing? You know, that Mr. David that you have called him, it shows that you remember him, you value him as a customer, right? Then also, the second step is anticipation and fulfillment of each guest needs. So you anticipate their needs and then you fulfill. To anticipate means you need to listen. We are going to come to listening. I'm going to teach you how to listen. Because it's very important. Most times you are rushing to solve the problem. Meanwhile, you have not even heard what the person's problem is exactly. So anticipation, anticipate the problem, listen and get it, then fulfill that need. Then the third step is a fond farewell. Give a warm goodbye and also use the person's name. So that's why they ask for your name at the beginning. Most of them you call, hello, this is Chioma. Hello, this is Chioma from MTN. Who am I speaking with? You say, hello, this is Mr. Uyi. And you see, they keep using that Mr. Uyi throughout the call. They keep using throughout the call. Don't think they remember, they will write it down. They write it down, Mr. Uyi. They will write it so that whenever they have a book right in front of them, they write the name down. So as they're talking to you, they keep saying that name and they keep calling you that name throughout. It makes you feel good, you know, it makes you feel good, kind of. It makes your customers feel good, kind of, exactly, as the case may be. So now, setting goals and standards of performance. This will be the end of the first part of this lesson. This lesson is very long. That's why I said we'll not be able to. It's a 2 weeks course. 2 weeks. I want to try and squeeze it into just 2 Saturdays. So anywhere we stop, I will share the material. The next class is Mr. Enya. Enya is the king of ERP as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Enya is going to be teaching you softwares for managing customers. Most times you go for training. In fact, most of all this training that you will go out for, that they will teach you, that all these people are coming to advertise in your CDS and coming, is paper and pencil. They will not show you what is real, what is happening out there, what is industry standards. But in this training, you will be taught hands-on how to use a software for managing customers. That will be happening next week. So wherever we stop today will be where we are going to be stopping. All you will just get is a material. And that material, if you go through it and digest that material, you should understand customer service very well. Then next week, we talk about customer management. You know, it's called customer service and relationship management. So we are doing customer service this Saturday, and next Saturday, we'll be doing the relationship management. So wherever we stop for customer service today, the material will be shared, then you read up. You are going to write an exam. Don't forget, you are going to write an exam. And the exam is going to touch everywhere of this course. It's going to touch everywhere of this course. So now, setting goals and standards of performance. In order for individuals, departments, or companies to provide high level of customer service, it's important that everyone in the organization knows how to measure the service being given. These standards of performance can be defined as agreed targets within which we ensure that our customers receive consistent levels of customer service. So, everything that we are doing, remember when I say good characteristic, what are good characteristics of customer care? And we mentioned they should be able to, what do they call it, appraise. There should be appraisals. Now, how can you do appraisals when there is no standard for performance? Appraisals, you need to measure, you need to appraise against a set standard, right? So if there is no set standard, how can you even appraise? How can you even review? So that's why we are now trying to understand this topic of standards of performance, right? So there are agreed targets, like I said, which we operate to ensure that our customers receive consistent levels of customer service. Consistent levels. You know that today the customer service will be good, tomorrow it will be bad, tomorrow it will be average, you know, like that. It has to be consistent. So that's what we are looking for towards. So now, put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Depending on the quality of service given, the customer will either feel angry, dissatisfied, mildly irritated, indifferent, they don't care, quite pleased, happy, and then ecstatic. Now, I want you guys to go back to the chart. How would you want your clients or customers to feel after you've dealt with them? Just drop your own, just be dropping your own. Some of you, I know you're gonna be weary, when I go say angry. Okay, happy, satisfied, happy, good, good. Ecstatic, interesting, ecstatic. Deborah says ecstatic. Angry, I talk one way they come. Every time I teach this course, there must always be a weary. And that happens to be Alexandra today. Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on. Satisfied from Ted. Deborah has answered. Anna has answered. Please, engagement is very important. Everything that you are seeing in this place is being recorded. We'll see everything. We'll know who be who at the end of the day, because we will give certificates now. Some of your certificates will carry F9. Some will carry A1. Some don't even see the certificates. Okay, so happy, indifferent. This one saying indifference. You want me to know the care. Now, wow. Harrison, how far? You should say you choose that indifference to your full chest. So indifference is more like they don't care, they are just there, they are not sad, they are not happy, they are just in between. That's like indifference, like a laissez-faire kind of attitude or a nonchalant kind of attitude towards your service. So it's okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. So let's see what I have to say concerning this. So now I said, which of these do you think would benefit your business the most? Which of these do you think will benefit the most to your customers? Now, although ecstasy is probably going to be at the top of most of people's lists, right? It is unlikely to be achieved in the long term because there's something called fatigue. Some of you have heard of fatigue. Fatigue sets in when you have been doing something repetitively for too long. So you have been saying, hello, hi, my name is Jane. They newly employed you into the company. You said, hello, my name is Jane. You are ecstatic for the first 1 month. Second month, you are still trying to be ecstatic. By the third month, don't worry. That your energy go don't drop well. So most time, ecstasy is going to be unlikely to be maintained in the long term. However, if all our customers were happy with our service, or as a minimum, quite pleased with the service, provided consistently, the impact on the success of the business will be significant. So if you can maintain quite pleased at a minimum, or your customers were always happy at the end of the day, that will significantly impact the success of your business. It is not enough to say things like, we want our service to be as good as possible, right? We are now moving on to standard of performance. How will you know how well you are doing when you don't have clear objectives and standards? So it's not just enough to say, we want it to be as good as possible. You need to set clear objectives and standards. And now we'll be going on to show how to set these clear objectives and standards. I know some of you already know how to set clear objectives. SMART. How many of us know what SMART is? SMART objectives. If you know what SMART objectives is, just signify on the group and tell us. If you know, you can just tell us what SMART objectives are. The meaning of SMART. Anybody in the group knows that? You can be dropping it 1-1. If you know the meaning of S, you can drop S. You know the meaning of M, you can drop M. A, you can drop A. R, you can drop R. T, you can drop T. Okay. Specific, lovely. S is specific. That's cool, Harrison. Measurable. M is measurable. Lovely. You guys are smart. Come on. It's smart objectives, and you guys are smart, man. Okay. Time bound. Actual. No, actual is not it too. Alexandra, not go put angry now, since A na angry. Achievable, yes. Attainable, achievable, yes. Attainable, achievable, any of them. Arrow is relevant, and then T is time bound. Yes, lovely, 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 lovely. Realistic, relevant, lovely. You guys are awesome. Time bound. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So now let's move on to the next slide. Now in customer service, we go a step further. We go a step further. It's not just smart. I call it SMARTAC or SMART AC. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant or realistic. Attainable is kind of realistic. That's why I like to put R as relevant, right? Time bound, ambitious, and consistent. Ambitious is there because we need to be aiming for higher goals in customer service. And you also have to be what? Consistent. Like I said, it has to be consistent. You don't need, it's not today to be good, tomorrow to be bad, like that you get. So that's basically how that works. So now, let's talk about them a bit, one after the other. Let's just talk about them one after the other. So specific, like I said, you can't just say, we want our customer service to be the best. Right? We can't just say we want it to be the best. There is more to it than just saying we want it to be the best. You have to set clear plans. Like you can say something like, everyone must take responsibility for answering the telephone. So whoever you are, as far as you are within that place, the phone must be answered. You can also set something specific, like saying the telephone is not allowed to ring more than 2 times before being answered. So once there is 2 missed calls on that phone, the 3rd one better not be a missed call, else somebody will be sacked. Yes. Or somebody will be punished. Or something will be happening, not sacked. Sacked is too far for not picking phone. That one a bad manager. Or another specific thing you can also set is the person that answered the call must take responsibility for solving that problem that the customer is calling for. So that's a specific goal, right? So achievable, I have here, if you set standards that are impossible to achieve, people will become demotivated and then they stop trying. To be most effective, standards should be agreed by the people responsible for delivering the service while reflecting the overall needs of the business. So first of all, before you even set the standard, let everybody be there in the room and let them agree and say, yes, this is the standard we are agreeing on, so that they will be a part of the process. Not that you, at the end of the day, you set a very, very high standard that is not achievable. They will be demotivated and they will not even bother to try anymore, right? So that's basically how that works. So M, measurable. Whenever possible, standards should be capable of measurement. These measures can be monitored in order to show how well a particular department is performing against its own standards. Subjective standards are difficult to measure, such as enthusiasm or friendliness, because that's subjective to the client. How can you measure friendliness? It's not something you can measure. How can you measure enthusiasm? It's not something you can measure. But they are also important. They are also very important. But don't expect to be able to judge yourself or your department against these. You need objective standards which are easy to measure, such as we will answer all calls, all queries within 2 working days. That's something that can be measured. That's something that can be measured. So if the task, the client called, and within 2 days, it has not been resolved, then you cannot measure that we are not doing well. But if within 2 days, you're always answering everything, then that's measurable. That means we are doing well. Or the ones that I mentioned before, if you are seeing you are getting 3 missed calls in a row, 4 missed calls in a row, 2 missed calls in a row, 3 missed calls in a row, and then you set that they should not be more, the phone should not ring more than 2 times before it is answered, that means you are not doing well. But if you see that it's only 1 missed call here and there, but they always pick the next one, then they are doing very well. So something that should be measurable. So now, we're in M, SMA. I talked about A already, sorry, that is attainable and achievable, right? So now R, relevant. So now relevance, how of performance should relate to the needs of your department and its external or internal customers. It must be relevant. So for example, it would not be relevant for members of a department who do not have any physical contact with the public to be adhering to standards of dressing. So for example, the accounts department, they are not going to have any physical contact with your clients. So why should you be measuring their success on the uniform that they are wearing? So that's not relevant. That's not something you should be measuring. If you are measuring that, it's not relevant. So if it's a department that is facing like receptionists, that is facing clients, and you have 3 receptionists on the desk, then you can measure it based on their dress, right? I'm not saying anybody that says you should wear a uniform is a bad boss or something. If it's the company policy for everybody to wear the uniform, no problem. All is well and fine. But if it's not part of the company policy, why measure the success based on that? So it has to be relevant. Your objectives need to be relevant. Right? So that's basically that for R. And then time bound. Time bound. Standards of performance will change over time. What is relevant to them will be totally unstable sometimes in the future. Technology changes and so do people's expectation. Standard, therefore, should regularly be reviewed to ensure that they are still what your customers require. So this is another angle to look at time, but then also the other angle we've also mentioned before, specific, like saying that this is how long we want for something to happen. Like I mentioned before, and I said, all queries must be handled within 2 days. It's a specific and a time-bound objective at the same time, right? And then, like I said, time-bound, your objectives have to be time-bound because they need to be reviewed regularly. It's not you just set the objectives today and that will be how the objectives will be forever and ever till thy kingdom come. No. Technology change, people change, expectation change, even the company changes. Even the product will change. Sometimes your price will change. These are things that are going to change. So for every change that is happening, not like for every change, as changes are happening, your objectives also need to be, be forming in that direction. Not that your objectives have been based on written queries that were coming through writing, and email. Now you have switched to queries on call. Meanwhile, all your objectives are still measured based on email and writing. That's not a time-bound objective. The time for email has passed now. It's now time to focus on using call. You now see how you can measure your success in the time of using call. Call will now also pass. There will not be maybe AI assistants. AI is everywhere now. Many people, in fact, most times, some of you have used chatbots. Most of the chatbots you are using, you are not chatting with a real person. You are chatting with an artificial intelligence. And some of you have used ChatGPT, you see how smart it is. In fact, I am a programmer and I love using ChatGPT. And if you're chatting with ChatGPT, it's like you're talking to a human being, honestly. So if the standard of procedures now leave from taking calls to chatbots and AI, then your standards of measurement, your standards of performance, we also need to change to the time of AI. So that's also time bound, another way to see time bound. So AC, the other A that we talked about was what? Ambitious. Ambitious. The more ambitious the standards we set for ourselves, the more we achieve. Right? One man used to say, it's better to aim for the sun and hit the moon than to aim for the moon and hit a rock. So the more ambitious you are, the better you will achieve. If someone's goal in life, of which most times we don't even achieve our goal, if your goal in life is to build a house and buy a car, you won't get past there. That's how you will live. You understand? You might not even at the end of the day reach it. You will not see that at the end of the day, you're able to, maybe start paying for a house, but you might not finish it, those kind of things and all that. But imagine you aim that I want to own 15 houses before I die. It's ambitious, yes. And at the end of the day, you're able to get just 2. It's better than the person that aimed for 1 and got 0. So the higher you raise your standards, the more you will achieve. So now, let's not forget that as much as you are raising your standards, make it achievable. Because the other A, what does it stand for? Achievable or attainable. You don't want to raise it too much that nobody can meet that standards. Right? So that's basically that for that. And then C, which is the final thing, consistency. Consistency. So why is it important for members of each department to set high standards of performance? There's also the need to be consistent. And let that consistent standard be set centrally that we apply throughout the organization. These need to be agreed and understood by everyone and followed through so that customers throughout the company, wherever the company is, experience the same high level of service. Let's say, for example, you go to this Chicken Republic. This Chicken Republic is in Area 8, and their service was very good. Then you now went to the Chicken Republic in Kubwa, Arab Road, and the service was very bad. You will not say, this Chicken Republic that is not doing well, man. It's not that branch. They have to set the standards for it to be consistent across all their branches. Even branches too far. You are talking to the sales department, they are very friendly. The moment they transfer you to technical departments, all of them they are squeezing their face, they are shouting at you. That's not consistency. It has to be consistent across all departments, across all branches, across all countries. It is a multinational company. Consistency is key. Yes, AI means artificial intelligence, Alexandra. AI means artificial intelligence. So let's move on. Let's move on. Oh no, my slide is not okay. Sorry. Oh, yes, don't mind me. This is the end of part 1. This is the end of part 1 of customer service. So it's now to enter part 2. It's now to enter part 2. Just notice that this is the end of part 1. And then part 2 is more like putting customer service into practice. So let's see how far we can go into part 2 before it is 9:30. And once it's 9:30, we'll start question and answer session. I'll take as many questions as you guys are going to drop. If possible, start dropping your questions right now so that I will plan properly for as many as I can answer. Or anyhow you feel like doing this, just maybe you should start dropping your questions at the moment. So I will just pause this sharing for now and share another screen because I have part 2 in another slide. I have part 2 in another slide. So please confirm to me that you are seeing putting customer care into service. If you can see that, please just write in the chat. You can see, just say I can see, just say I can see. If you are seeing this putting customer care into practice. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Putting customer care into service, lovely. So let's just see how far we can go in this. Like, it's actually very long. You see how many slides there are? There are so many slides, so many slides. That's why I said I will send the material to you guys and you guys will read it and take it. So normally this part, I usually hand over this part to Kim to take, but Kim is not around at the moment. So I will just take it normally. I'll just take it. So it's, because normally this is another class. Like I told you, it's a 2 weeks program that different teachers will come and teach you and all that. But we are trying to squeeze as much as we can out of the class for just this Saturday. So putting customer care into practice. Many organizations try to implement customer care programs that fail. So my bank ran one of these a few years ago, and they had leaflets describing their new commitments to customer service with cartoons that had customer service that had a customer service team. Now, I had plenty of time to read the leaflet one lunchtime in their Leeds branch as I was waiting in a queue of about 10 people with only 2 cashiers on duty. So you are saying that you are committed to customer service, and then there is a queue, 10 people in this queue, 10 people in this queue, and you only have 2 cashiers. If you are really committed to customer service, you should have more cashiers. If you go to banks, now many of you are seeing, in fact, if it is possible for banks to even make it just 1 cashier, they will do it. Because you see, most of them, they don't really care. Now, putting more customer care programs into practice require training staff and communicating with customers, but it also requires resources and needs ongoing management, measurement, and review to bring long-term beneficial effects. Identifying your customers and walking the walk. The first question we need to answer is, who are your customers? This seems pretty straightforward at the first time, but it's actually not that straightforward. So in order to provide consistently high level of customer care, we need to identify who our customers are. The most obvious answer is those people who purchase our products and service, right? We need to see that these are people that are our customers. Now, however, for customers to receive high quality of service from any organization, all departments within the organization have to work together. For example, sales have to identify and sell to the customer. Orders need to be processed, and then accounts need to be administered. So you have the operations department here, the sales department, and then the accounting department. They have to work hand in hand. So that this department is quarreling with this department. They are not doing their things fast. At the end of the day, it's the customer that is going to suffer it. All departments need to talk with each other and build positive relationships. So whether you work in whatever capacity or you have a range of internal as well as external customer satisfied, breakdown of communication or lack of cooperation between the departments is the most source of problems for external customers. So when there's that breakdown of communication or lack of cooperation between the departments, it is the most common source of problems for external customers. In order for a company to be customer driven, they need to pay attention to all their customers, both internal, their staffs, and then the external customers, right? So I'm just trying to speed run this part. So question, I will share the material. So let's just breeze through as much as we can, but I don't have time. I have just like 5 minutes to round up this. So questions I will be asking if it was my business would be something like, when a customer rings in with a query, what kind of record is made of the call? So most times they tell you this call will be recorded for customer and evaluation purposes, so on and so on. So it's a record made of the call. Is it that the person will write what he said down, or then it will be recorded as a audio message or something like that? When we answer the phone, do we give our name? How do we answer the people, right? Another question you want to ask yourself, who should take responsibility for making sure the problem is solved and the customer is informed after it is solved? Because you cannot just solve it, but you also need to inform the customer that, hey, we have solved your problem. If an order is delayed, why is the customer not informed? Sometimes orders can be delayed. You should also ask yourself, why is the customer not informed? What was the reason for the delay? How do sales, those who book orders and production, who make the stuff, how do they communicate? Ask yourself the communication, because that is something that if they are not communicating well, we said, is going to affect the external customers. How often is this happening? Sorry for that misspelling. How often is this happening? Before I send it to you guys, I'm going to work on it again and send you without typographical error. Sorry about this. So now how can we stop it from happening again? That's why we say ambitious. You need to keep upping your game. Stop it from happening again. We're not saying bad things are going to happen, yes. We're not looking for ecstasy. We're looking for quite pleased and happy. So how do you get to better levels of making them always happy, or even getting them to ecstasy, right? To be excited about your service. So an important part of developing a customer service culture is experiencing things from the customer's point of view. This can be done by looking at various customer experiences and tracking who gets involved and what systems are currently in place. So for example, when a customer places an order, what happens? Who gets involved? And at what stage of this process? What if something goes wrong? What systems are currently in place and how could they be improved? How can we make our service exceptional rather than just better, right? So you need to look at it. Don't look at this thing from your management's perspective, or you as a customer representative, don't look at it from your own perspective. Go to the customer side and look at it from that perspective, right? Another way, we can also make use of mystery shoppers for feedback from existing customers. Mystery shoppers, some of you, know, Undercover Boss. How many of you have watched Undercover Boss? So the boss goes to a branch of his company that they don't know him as the boss, and then try to experience how their customer service is from a customer perspective. So the boss will walk into the company and behave like a customer and everything to just rate their experience. That's one way. Then feedback from existing customers. Always take feedback. So now most ideas for customer service improvements come from customers themselves, which is very true. They are the ones that are going to tell you where you are fucking up because they are the customers. So keep asking them, how are we doing and how could we do better? Those are the two things you need to keep asking them. Delivering customer care. Wow, we have a lot. Developing communication skills. I talked about listening, talking, body language, closed questioning, follow-up questions, effective listening. Like I said, there's a whole lot: verbal, clarification, confirming, non-verbal communication, staying positive, dealing with customers by phone. So of you that are going to become people that will talk about the phone, voice and manner. There's a whole lot. Golden rules, and then keeping the momentum. Where we'll finally end it. So most of these things you guys are going to read by yourself. That's just how it's going to work at the moment. So let's just see delivering customer care and take 2 more slides, and then we'll put it to a close so that we can take questions. I'm seeing the chat here. Okay, I can see. So now customer care begins by making the initial decision to be different and place service at the top of everyone's agenda. Every part of the business then needs to look at the way it interacts with the customers and with other departments, and to do an audit that identifies where are we now? Where are we now? And that where are we now will be based on the objectives that you have initially set. You know, I always say this thing, if you don't set objective, what are you going to measure against? How will you even know where you are now when there were no even objectives placed in the first place? How would you know where you are going when there are no objectives, right? So setting objectives, that's why we dealt with that. Now we're talking about delivering it. So now, having answered that question, the next question we need to ask is, where do we want to be? Or where do we want to get to? This is our vision for the future. And the more we are able to see our future objectives and describe them, the more likely we are going to get there. They say failure to plan is planning to fail. So are we planning, or we are just working on vibes? Then after asking that question, where do we want to get to? The next question we need to ask is, how are we going to get there? So this is where the strategic planning comes in. How are we going to get there? Customer care involves everyone in the organization, but some things have to be in place to make things really happen. That's why if we are doing, some of you have done HSCs, Health, Safety and Environment course. And HSC will tell you that 99% of all safety issues that happen in a company is caused by management. Well, you will say, no, it's not management that use the machine like this, the staff that use the machine, and then the problem now happen like this. But was the staff trained? No. So you see, most times it's management. In fact, there's something called let me not digress too much, but there's something in HSC that you take step to mitigate risk. So you take step to cut risk before the risk happen. So you just see, for example, a plain ground, everything is just plain, then there's just a sudden step down. Most of you have experienced this thing. You will just be walking, for example, in church. This is your first time in the church. And you just be walking, you are not looking at them. There's just a step down. You will almost fall. Imagine that is a working environment with so many machines and everything. You can't be having that step. As a management, you need to not take steps. For example, you cannot slope it. So the person, instead of taking a sudden step, it will be gently sloping down. You have already solved that issue. That's what we call mitigating risk. Not just saying that, hey, there's a step there, don't go and fall. No, it's not enough. You need to mitigate it. You need to curb it before it causes a risk, an accident, or an incident. So that's about safety. Let's leave safety out there. But I'm just trying to tell you that for customer care, everyone is involved, yes, but some things need to be put in place, and it has to be put in place by top management. It has to be put in place by the top management. So the next step of this talk is developing communication skills. A larger part of customer service is how we communicate with our customers. Communication can be face-to-face, by telephone, by letter, by email, chat, and then to a lesser degree, fax. Some companies still use fax till date. In fact, I like fax. Do you know how interesting fax is? Let's leave that for another day, but fax is a very interesting machine. Like you can send anything, picture, text, something you scribble down via wires, and then it prints out at the other end. That's quite a very, very crazy system. Very, very interesting system. And I don't know why we don't use it now, but all this well. So now, direct communication. Now, whether face-to-face or by phone, this involves asking questions, listening, and problem solving. We need to be able to deal with unhappy and frustrated customers and send them away feeling positive about their experience. People are going to come to you angry. It doesn't mean you should fight fire with fire. Alexandra is who I'm talking to. You don't want to let them go angry. And yeah, they talk to now. Not be fire for fire. You understand? You want to let them, as they are coming in frustrated and unhappy, by your own product, your company's product. Someone trying to say something. Who is our DJ? This Kmon guy, techno Kmon guy, but I say just the flex. So it's all right. I've muted him. I think he's the one that was making the sound. So, as I was saying, we have to deal with this unhappy and frustrated customer and send them what feeling positive about their experience. Now, in face-to-face communication, body language is very important. You can't be looking like your eyes are mocking the person and then you are saying something different from your mouth. Your body language needs to be coherent, right? So in face-to-face communication, body language is important and it contributes more than anything else to the message that is being received. You are talking to somebody, your body is facing this side, only your head is facing the person. The person will know that you are not attending to him, that you are not talking to him. Just that action of moving your chair to face the person and listening to the person feels in communication with you. You see this as often in the bank. The customer care service guy is on the system pressing the system and then raises his head up and is attending to you. His whole body is facing the laptop and then only the head is facing you. At once, you know that the person is not communicating with you, man. So body language is very, very important. So here are some thoughts on communicating with customers. Dealing with complaining customers. When customers are complaining, they are usually in an emotive state of mind. They are showing their emotions. They can appear to be quite aggressive and threatening. Our sole aim or our role is to calm them down and try to solve their problem. That's the goal, to calm them down. If someone is raising their voice, you are not supposed to be raising your voice. You're supposed to be reducing your own voice. And it works. Most times, if I'm teaching in a class and then the class is getting rowdy, I start talking very low. They will automatically reduce their volume so that they can hear me. I don't need to shout, stop making, you are increasing the noise. They will keep increasing their own noise. Just reduce your volume and start talking lower. They will automatically quiet themselves down so that they can hear you. That's exactly how it was. So it's more like a mind game or a life hack, kind of. So when you see someone shouting and all, the goal is not to shout. The goal is to reduce your voice, come to a calmer tone, slow down how you are talking, and the person will automatically follow suit. That's how it works. So now the best way to do this is to let them speak and get out all their frustration. Let them pour out them. Don't interrupt, but listen and show empathy. You can use what we call NCGs, non-committal grunts. Now, these are something like You see those those not that it will be too loud though. Just say okay, like non-committal grunts, that's what we call them. Now, which demonstrate that you are listening, but you are not interrupting. So if you even make that thing too loud, it will look like you are interrupting. So you don't want to make it too loud. You just want to keep it calm and cool. Right? So that's that for that. So now look concerned and emphasize. Look concerned and emphasize. But don't apologize until you are sure whether it is your fault or theirs. Yes, I know since we just do that, say customer, everything. But most times they are at fault too. Don't forget that. Sometimes they are at fault. So when you start apologizing that, oh, sorry, they will feel that they are right. So before you start apologizing, make sure that you are sure that it's your fault. Imagine someone picked a phone, bought a phone, and then is complaining that his screen just broke. And you heard everything. At the end of the day, you discover that he was the one that, because he was angry, he used his phone to smash the ground because he was angry. Why are you telling him sorry? Now you spoil the phone now, you understand? But it's not like you're going to insult him, but it's not your fault. So you shouldn't be apologizing. You say, oh, I see. But you just said you smashed the phone on the floor. So that's not on us. You have spoiled your phone with your own hands. So what we can do for you now, we can offer you to fix the screen. You bring it to our office and we'll fix it. Or you can take it to a repair shop and get it fixed. It's not the one that you say, oh, so sorry about that. We're so sorry that you got angry. Because say, babe, break up with her, and you call it apologize. So that's basically what I'm trying to say here, right? So don't apologize until you are sure whether it's your fault or theirs. This passive way of behaving has the effect that after a while, and they've got out all their frustration, many people will actually now apologize. And this indicates that they are ready to talk logically about finding the solution. So if it's now, when they now, when you actually apologize, and even when sometimes they apologize and you see, they've now started calming down, you will now know that they are now, there's something about letting some people, they are angry, but just to let them angry, just let them go away from that mood. They just need to say what is on their mind. So most times, just allow them talk. And when they have said their own, calm them down, and then they are now logical. They are no longer emotional. They are now logical about finding a solution. So now once they've calmed down, ask questions to clarify full facts behind the issue, and then look for a solution. So this is now where you now start, because when they were saying, you were jotting down some things. Okay, he said so and so and so. So you clarify. So I want to be sure, are you trying to say that you loaded airtime and then the airtime did not enter your SIM? Person will say, yes. You are not sure that that's exactly what happened. Okay, do you have the airtime still with you? You know, that kind of thing. Person say, okay, can you call the code of the airtime? Yes, person, no. You are not looking for a solution now, but they've already vented all their anger out before. You let them do that, and then you can ask them that. So I usually ask them what they would like me to do, which is also another thing. Because this time is always cheaper. The solution is always cheaper and easier to deliver than what you have in mind. So whatever happens, we negotiate a solution and hopefully get to do business with them again in the future. So let me just go back and say this. Let me just double down on what I just said. Asking somebody what you would like them to do is an underrated skill that most people don't take a look at. Imagine someone just came to your repair shop and then just say, my phone is not coming on. My phone is not coming on. I need you to repair my phone. My phone is not coming on. The next thing, you just carry your screwdriver, start losing the phone, losing it. And you didn't ask any question. Then when you now lose it, you now start fixing the phone. You now couple it back. And then the phone is now working. You have wasted time. Or you just ask the person, so your phone is not working. So what would you want me to do? You say, okay, the power button is not pressing well. Or I don't know how to put it on. All you just needed to do was to press the power button down and then the phone will come on. Meanwhile, you have gone ahead to lose the phone and do everything in this life, and then the phone is not working, which is cheaper. It's obviously just asking the person what to do. So we need to take that. It's a life hack. The life hack. Just ask the person, so what would you like me to do? What would you like us to do? How can we help you? Those are some ways you can ask this question. So let's put it to a close at this point. To like talk. I know I said 9:30, but you guys were not dropping any questions. I said start dropping your questions, but people were not dropping. So at this moment, I would like anybody that wants to talk, you can unmute. Well, this is where we are ending the session for today. You will read about body language and the others much later. So anybody wants to unmute themselves? Anything, if you have a comment, you have a question, anything at all, you can unmute yourself, or if you have a question. Okay, please, what is the date for the exam? So we'll communicate that after the second class, after the next Saturday, the exam can be set for, we'll just give you some time now. We'll not just set it immediately after the class. So we'll give you some time. Maybe the exam can be happening. So let's say next week Saturday will be on the 6th. So let's say by on the 8th to 10th, the exam link will be sent out. And then you just take the exam. It's an online exam. Everything is online. We don't want to start wasting transport or stuff like that to come to a venue to write an exam. So it's online. You can consult the material, you can go online and ask questions, but you just need to take the exam online, that's all. After the exam, you'll get your certificates and you'll be certified. So once you get your certificates, you can use that. You can put it in your CV, you can put it in your applications, you can print the certificate out, frame it, and put it in your office, or hang it in your door, or go and show your parents. Anything you want to do with the certificate after the exams, that's up to you. Then also, like I said, some persons that are doing exceptionally well will be given opportunity to take sales training. Then some other persons, some persons will also be can come into the company to work as a because companies are always looking for sales executive, whether you like it or not. So you can come in as a sales rep and all that. So there might be open positions for sales reps and those kind of positions. So as far as you've received customer service training by us and then sales training, definitely some persons will be offered gainful employment. Then some others can, some of you here are programmers, graphics designers, can employ some of your services. That's why I said introduce yourself, let's get to know you on the group, interact in the group. And we are on the watch out, we are looking out, we are seeing everybody there, and we'd love to engage everybody. Then also another thing that Enya was saying, he was saying that some of you can even become independent marketers or more like promoters of the software, and you'll be paid commissions. I am paid heavily for selling the software, man. So I can go to a client and then the clients, at the end of the day, the client to deploy the software, the client spends maybe 300,000 naira. The company can pay me like 60,000 out of that money for bringing that clients to them. So that's cool cash for you. So for example, you know somebody that owns a supermarket and the person is not managing the supermarket very well. The staffs are stealing from the supermarket, thieving money. There's no monitoring and all that. This software is what the other person needs. Once the person just gets this software, install it, start managing the supermarket with that, it cobs all those things out. The person, there is no loophole anymore because the software will be what will be managing the inventory, the accounts, the point of sale, the POS, everything. The software will be handling that. So it's an all-in-one integrated service. So some of you can sell it to some of you that knows people that own markets, people that own schools can use it, even church uses it. Any type of company can actually use it. Real estate company, any company in this world, law firms. Because we have a case management module, for example, to manage law cases. We have a document module to even manage documents. So there are so many things that are in the software. We'll talk about this much more later. That's not the main aim. The main aim of this is to train you guys first. And so now that we have started achieving the training part, let's finish with that. Then we'll let you know what the next steps are. So anybody wants to say something, because we are coming to a close now. Anybody wants to say anything? Anybody wants to comment? Anybody wants to ask a question? Now is the perfect time for that. Those of you that your names are not showing Techno and iPhone, I can't get your attendance. I can't get your attendance. Those people that your name are showing iPhone.
What do I want to buy this thing for?
Sorry, I can hear you.
And everything. Just tell me better go back. What do you want to buy this? I not buy anything.
Are you asking a question, Harrison? Okay. Okay, so sorry, thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Aisha. Please, Techno come on 17p. And this person that his name is iPhone, can you please drop? Okay, iPhone says, I've gotten your name now. I've gotten your name. Techno come on 17p. What's your name, please? What's your name? I'm using it for attendance. Your name is showing Tori. iPhone. Tory iPhone. So if you are not sure your name is showing, you can just drop your name. If you are not sure your name is showing. Well, at the moment I have Abiola, Abraham, Aisha, Alexandra, Anna, Chinyere, Chisom, Deborah, Emmanuel, Gabriela, Harrison, Chukwebuka, Deborah, Joe, Emmanuel, Larry, Lovely, Nora, Odige Osas, Okide, Esoe Favor, Oluwakayode Adebayo, Precious, Rachel Bello, that's Rachel Bello, Rita Monye, Tori iPhone, Zainab, Oyiza, and Joe or something like that. Okay, so thank you guys for attending. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a lot. Please, if you learned a lot, if you learned something at all, just drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Just let the chat be bubbling. I want to see that you learned something. If you learned something, just tell me I learned something. If you can't, give me your key takeaways, something you learned that was really take home for you. Your take home. What was your take home? Let me get to know what your take homes are. Let me just get what your take homes are. I will share this material with you guys. I just need to work on it a bit. I need to remove some of the typos on this second material because I'll say the first and the second. This second material, I'm seeing some typos on it, and I'll correct it and then I'll send to you guys. I don't like anything that typos. So anybody have any key takeaways? If you have any key takeaways, I will just take one or two of them, just write it, and then would close the meeting. So can we have the recording? I would see what will come to make the recording available. Yes, I'm recording the class. So we'll see what we can do, how much we can do to make it available. So is it that we'll put it on YouTube or we'll put it on Google Drive, any of these platforms where we can have you always come back to, where you can have you always come back to watch it. Oh yes, SmartAct, lovely. Yes, SmartAct, that was really nice. Learned how to communicate to customers, lovely. I learned how to be specific in setting goals for my business, lovely. I really like that, Anna. I also like from my iPhone with Chinaza now, communicating with customers. Then Aisha and Abiola said, yes, SmartAct, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, ambitious, and consistent. Learn that it's easier and cheaper to keep a customer than to make a new one. Yes, lovely. Learn how you can use interpersonal skills to handle customers. Beautiful, Rachel. Lovely, Chinyere. Loveland says, dealing with complaining customers, really insightful. Lovely. That's awesome. Dealing with complaining customers, okay. Learn not to apologize to a customer until you confirm that the problem is from you. Yes, very important. People are mad. Don't worry, people are mad. That's part of it. I learned to put myself in my customer's shoe. Lovely. Thank you, Gabriela. And thank you, Deborah. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic. Staying out to this time just to learn and the pursuit of knowledge. It's really awesome having you guys around. Honestly, it's really awesome having you guys around. Please, okay. Learned how to interact with my customers. Okay, Nora said I learned how to interact with my customers. Okay, so that's all we'll be taking for today. Thank you very much for all your communications and everything you guys have sacrificed, your data, your time to be at this meeting. And I don't know, maybe by on Saturday, if I can, I would try to get our CEO to just give you guys a word, just come and say hi to you guys, if it's chance though. If not, I'll just tell him to drop a message on the group anyways, so that you guys will know who is that kind of thing. Okay, so thank you very much. And this is where we'll put the meeting to a close. See y'all in the WhatsApp group chats.